Great day, grade 7 learners! We bring you back to another exciting journey of your homeschooling, and for sure you will enjoy the lesson and expect to have some fun. This is your School on Air in Mathematics 7. We are very happy to have you today for our discussion through our radio and telecasting mode of learning. I am Teacher Daisy G. Romero of Cauayan City National High School, Division of Cauayan City, your teacher for today. Before we begin, make sure that you are in a comfortable place and you can clearly hear me in your radio or see me in your screen. Have you taken your lunch well? It's very important that your stomach is full and your body is in good condition so your mind is alert and ready to listen and understand the lesson we are going to discuss today. At this point, please get ready with your module or your learning activity sheets in Math 7. Be sure that you have with you your notebook and ballpen. Jot down important details and just be ready with the exciting activities intended for you today. Before we start the lesson, let's have a short review of our past lesson regarding addition and subtraction of fractions. How to find the sum or difference of two fractions. Of course, we need to follow the rules. First, in adding fractions or in subtracting fractions with the same denominators, if A and B and C denote integers and D is not equal to 0, then for addition, A over D plus C over D is equal to A plus C over D. And for subtraction, A over D minus C over D is equal to A minus C over D. Next, in adding or subtracting fractions with different denominators, A over B and C over D, where B is not equal to 0 and D is not equal to 0. First, rename the fractions to make them similar, whose denominator is the least common multiple of B and D. Next, add or subtract the numerators of the resulting fractions. Then lastly, write the result as a fraction whose numerator is the sum or difference of the numerators and whose denominator is the least common multiple of B and D. Let's have an example, class. Find the sum of 2/3 and 1/4. First, check whether the given are similar or dissimilar fractions. Since the given are dissimilar fractions, then apply rule number 2. So first, rename the fractions to make them similar, whose denominator is the least common multiple of the denominators 3 and 4. After that, add the numerators and copy the common denominator. So we have here the solution. 2/3 plus 1/4 is equal to, rename it to make them similar. The LCD is 12. Divide the LCD by the denominator 3. So we have 12 divided by 3 is 4. Multiply it by 2 and we have 8. So we have 8 over 12. Take note, class, that 8 over 12 is same as 2/3. They are equivalent fractions. Next, let's have the other fraction. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Multiply it by 1, so we have 3. Okay? So we have now similar fractions, 8 over 12 plus 3 over 12. So add the numerators, 8 plus 3 is 11, over the common denominator, 12. So the sum of 2/3 and 1/4 is 11 over 12. Can you follow, class? This time, may you try to answer these problems, class. Okay, let's have the first. Take note of this. 3 over 15 plus 4 over 15 plus 7 over 15. Find the sum. I'll give you 10 seconds. Are you done, class? Okay, let's check your answer. So as you can see that the given are similar fractions, right? So very simple, you just add all the numerators. So we have 3 plus 4 plus 7 is equal to 14. Did you get it right? Okay, what about the denominator? So very simple, you just copy the common denominator 15. Therefore, the sum is 14 over 15. Okay, next, number 2. 4/5 minus 5 over 7. 10 seconds, please. Okay, are you done, class? As you can see that the given are the similar fractions. So what are you going to do? Rename the fractions to make them similar, right? And then the denominator should be the least common multiple of 5 and 7. And what is it? It's 35, isn't it? Then, to make them similar, divide the least common denominator by the denominators 5 and 7. So let's have the first fraction. 35 divided by 5 is 7. Multiply it by 4, so the answer is 28. Okay, next, 35 divided by 7 is 5. Multiply it by 5 is equal to 25. So they are now similar fractions, class. So very simple, follow the rule. Subtract the numerators. 28 minus 25 is 3. Then, copy the common denominator 35. Therefore, the difference of 4/5 and 5 over 7 is 3 over 35. Did you get all? Then, you did a great job. If you have some mistakes, you need to master the rules and practice more. Remember, constant right practice makes you better. Now, dear grade 7 students, we're already done with 2 operations of fractions. We have the addition and subtraction. Always bear in mind that in performing these operations, we need to follow the rules so that we can get the correct answer on any given problems involving addition and subtraction of fractions. So, are you now ready to move to the next operation? Absolutely yes. This time, I want you to focus on the third operation, which is multiplication of fractions. Now, let's have the opening activity. This is the instruction class, so please listen carefully. Make a model or a drawing to show the given in the problem. I'll give you 10 seconds to do this. So this is the problem. A chocolate bar is divided into 10 equal slices. Some ate 3/5 of 1/2. What part of the whole chocolate did some eat? Okay, I know you're done, but for this time, just keep your answer, then later we will discuss it. Okay, I know you're now excited and prepared for our new lesson. Are you ready, class? Be sure that you have with you your module, ball pen, and notebook. So, our lesson for today is all about multiplication of fractions. At the end of the lesson, we are expecting you to learn how to multiply fractions and be able to solve real-life problems involving multiplication of fractions. From the opening activity a while back, can you use a model or a drawing to solve the problem? Absolutely yes. Especially so, this problem involves fractions. So, a model that we can use to illustrate multiplication of fractions is the area model. Let's have an example, class. What is 1/4 of 1/3? Suppose we have one bar of chocolate represents 1 unit. Divide the bar first into 4 equal parts vertically. One part of it is 1/4. Then, divide its fourth into 3 equal parts. This time, horizontally to make the divisions easy to see. One part of the horizontal division is 1/3. There will be 12 equal-sized pieces and one piece is 1/12. But that one piece is 1/3 of 1/4, which we know from elementary mathematics to mean 1/4 times 1/3. So, the product is 1/12. Another example, class. What is the product of 2/3 and 3/4? This area model illustrates 2/3 of 3/4. The shaded part of the first figure from the left shows 2/3 where the bar is divided into 3 equal parts horizontally. The shaded part of the next figure shows 3/4 where the bar is equally divided by 4 vertically. And the last figure shows the product of 2/3 and 3/4, which is 6/12. And take note, class, that 6/12 can still be simplified. How? Find the GCF of 6 and 12. And what is it? It is 6, right? So, divide the fractions by the GCF. So, we have 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. Therefore, 6/12 is equal to 1/2. That is the simplest form of 6/12. From these illustrations, class, what did you observe? How do we multiply two fractions? In example number 1, 1/4 times 1/3 is equal to 1/12. How did we get the numerator 1 in the product 1/12? What about the denominator 12? So as you can see that 1 is obtained by multiplying 1 times 1 where these are the numerators of the two fractions. And 12 is the product of the two denominators 4 and 3. Okay, let's have number 2. 2/3 times 3/4 is equal to 6/12 or 1/2. The product of the two numerators 2 and 3 is 6. And the product of the two denominators 3 and 4 is 12. The product of 6/12 can still be simplified by finding the GCF of 6/12, which is 6. Then, divide the fraction by its GCF, so we got 1/12. From this class, we can now formulate the rules in multiplying fractions. To multiply rational numbers in fraction form, simply multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. So in symbol, we have A over B times C over D is equal to A times C over B times D. where B and D are not equal to 0. Let's have more examples. 5 over 6 times 2/3. So very simple, following the rules, multiply the two numerators, 5 and 2, and that is 10. Multiply both denominators, 6 and 3, so we have 18. Take note that 10 over 18 can still be simplified, right? So what is the GCF of 10 and 18? It's 2, right? Okay, so divide 10 by 2, that's 5. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So the answer is 5 over 9. Next, what about the product of 4 over 7 and 3/4? So the product of 4 over 7 and 3/4 is equal to 12 over 28. As you can see, that 12 over 28 can still be simplified. By how? Find the GCF of 12 and 28, and that is 4. So, divide 12 by 4 is 3. 28 by 4 is 7. Therefore, the simplest form of 12 over 28 is 3 over 7. What about if we have 5 times 2 and 3/5? We are multiplying a whole number and a mixed number, right? So what will we do? First? First, rename 5 as 5 over 1, or rename it as a fraction. Second, rename 2 and 3/5 as an improper fraction. Then, lastly, multiply both numerators and denominators. So, in our solution, rename 5 as 5 over 1 times rename 2 and 3/5 as an improper fraction. So, let's multiply 2 times 5, that's 10. Add the product to the numerator, 3. So, we have 13. Then, copy the denominator, 5. So, we are now ready to multiply the numerators. 5 times 13 is 65. Over 1 times 5 is 5. So, the product is 65 over 5. As you can see, we can divide 65 by 5 exactly, and that is 13. Okay? So, the product of 5 times 2 and 3/5 is 13. You see, the rules are very simple, and I hope everyone can follow. Now, let's apply this to real-life problem. Are you excited? This is the problem, class. It takes Joy 3/4 of an hour to complete a piece of cross stitch. How many hours will it take her to complete a dozen pieces? So, let's have the solution, class. Dozen means 12. So, let's multiply 12 times 3/4. So, first, rename 12 as the fraction 12 over 1. Then, multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. So, let's multiply 12 times 3 and 1 times 4. So, 12 times 3 is 36, over 1 times 4 is 9. Thus, Joy can complete a dozen pieces in 9 hours. Did you get, class? So, very simple. For more mastery, let's have a drill. Get ready with your pen and notebook, class. So, you are given 5 seconds to answer every problem. I hope you understand the instruction. Find the product of the following fractions. Number 1, 5 over 6 times 3/4. Are you done, class? Okay. So, what is the product of 5 over 6 and 3/4? So, following the rule, multiply both numerators. 5 times 3 is 15. And both denominators, 6 and 4, we have 24. So, the product is 15 over 24. But, 15 over 24 can still be simplified, right? Okay. Find the LCD of 15 and 24. And that is 3. So, divide 15 by 3 is 5. 24 by 3 is 8. So, the simplest form is 5 over 8. Did you get it? Next, number 2. Find the product of 4 over 7 and 5 over 11. Are you done? Okay. So, the product is 20 over 77. Did you get it right, class? Okay. So, how is 20 obtained? So, multiply 4 and 5, that's 20. What about 77? You multiply 7 and 11, that's 77. Okay. Next, number 3. 1/4 times 1/5 times 1 over 6. Okay, we have 3 fractions here. Okay, don't worry. As long as you follow the rule, multiply all the numerators, multiply all the denominators. So, let's have the numerators, class. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. Okay. What about the denominators? 4 times 5 times 6 is equal to 120. So, the product is 1 over 120. Okay, let's have number 4. 8 times 3/4. 5 seconds. Okay, what's the product of 8 and 3/4? So, the product is 24 over 4. And as you can see, we can divide exactly 24 by 4, and that's equal to 6. Therefore, the product of 8 times 3/4 is 6. Did you get the correct answer, class? Okay, let's have the last, number 5. 1 times 3/5 times 1 and 1/3. Time is up, class. So, what's your answer here? First, rename 1 and 3/5 to an improper fraction. So, 1 times 5 is 5. Add it to the numerator, so that's 8 over 5. What about 1 and 1/3? So first, rename this to improper fraction. So multiply 1 times 3 is 3 plus 1 is 4. So we have 4/3. Okay, now we can multiply now 8 over 5 times 4/3. So 8 times 4 is 32 over 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, so the product is 32 over 15. If we change this to mix, then this is also equivalent to 2 and 2 over 15. What's your score, class? Did you get it all? Now let's practice more. What if we have more than 2 fractions to solve? Like for example, 1/2 times 2/3 times 3/4 times 5 over 6. Find the product. Don't worry, class. Just follow the rules. Even if how many fractions are given, just multiply all the numerators, multiply all the denominators, and simplify. Okay, so from the given, 1/2 times 2/3 times 3/4 times 4/5. Let's multiply first all the numerators. 1 times 2 is 2, times 3 is 6, times 4 is 24. In the denominator, we have 2 times 3 is 6, times 4 is 24, times 5 is 120. So the product is 24 over 120. But still, this can be simplified. So find the GCF of 24 and 120. And it is 24. So divide 24 by 24, that is 1. And 120 divided by 24 is 5. Did you get it? So the product is 1/5. Okay, it's your turn, class. Find the product of these fractions. Number 1. 1/5 times 3/5 times 4/5. What is your answer, class? Okay, the product is 12 over 125. Number 2. 2 and 1/2 times 3 and 1/3 times 4. Find the product. Okay, are you done, class? So what is our solution here? First, rename the mixed number into improper fraction. So 2 and 1/2, you multiply 2 times 4, that's 4. Add it to the numerator, so we have 5. 5 halves. Times, okay, 3 and 1/3, rename it to improper fraction. So 3 times 3 is 9. Add the product to the numerator, plus 1. So 9 plus 1 is 10 over 3. Then, rename 4 as a fraction. So that's 4 over 1. So we are now ready to multiply all the numerators. 5 times 10 times 4, that's 200. And in the denominator, 2 times 3 times 1 is 6. And then, simplify the answer to its lowest term. It's equal to 100 over 3. Or, in mixed number, we have 33 and 1/3. Okay, did you understand, class? If you get 0 score, don't be discouraged. Be patient enough in going over the lesson. But I hope all of you understood the lesson for today. Now, let's answer the questions posed in the opening activity. Bring out your answers and now let's see if we have the same answer. So this is the problem, class, in the opening activity. A chocolate is divided into 10 equal slices. Some ate 3/5 of 1/2. So what part of the whole chocolate did some eat? So this is the solution, class. You look at the area model. So we can see here that some ate 3/5 of 1/2. So 3/5 times 1/2 is 3 over 10. Therefore, some ate 3 over 10 of the whole chocolate. Now, let's have a recap of what we have discussed today. Based from our discussion, how to find the product of two fractions. First, we multiply the numerators, then multiply the denominators and simplify. Next question, class. What if the given are mixed fractions? Can we multiply immediately? Of course no, because we need to rename or change the mixed number into improper fraction. Then, multiply all the given following the rules in multiplication of fractions. How about if one of the factors is a whole number? If one factor is a whole number, we can rename it as a fraction, where 1 is the denominator. Then, multiply all the given following the rule. Did you understand our lesson today, my dear grade 7 students? If so, then that's great. Once again, one lesson has been done for today. To have a better and deeper understanding of the lesson we have discussed, Once again, this is Teacher Daisy, your teacher in Mathematics 7, sharing a quotation written by Leo Tolstoy, and he said, "A man is like a fraction whose numerator is what he is and whose denominator is what he thinks of himself. The larger the denominator, the smaller the fraction." Stay safe and God bless everyone.